Hi, and thanks for joining our TMC live session for the Manchester College. I'll shortly pass you over to Tom McCaskill-Baxter, Director for Curriculum, who will be providing you with a showcase of our Btec Applied Science course. If you have any questions at any point throughout the session, you can ask them in the live Q&A box, which is on the right of the screen, and we'll answer as many as we can at the end. So I'll pass you over to Tom to get it started. Over to you, Tom.
Thanks, Reese. Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for giving up your time to come and learn a bit more about Btec Science at the Manchester College. So I'm just going to get started with our presentation now. Just bear with me while the technology catches up. I'm just moving to the next page, or trying to. There we go. Thank you again for your time, and I'm going to take you through a brief presentation. It'd be great to hear your questions, and we've got one of our tutors who's also on this call who'll be able to answer some questions along with me. So your involvement is really encouraged. So I want to tell you all about the Centre of Excellence for Science, which we're developing at Manchester College. The qualification that we offer is Btec Applied Science at Level 2 and Level 3. In case you're not sure what Level 2 and Level 3 means, Level 2 is basically GCSE level, and Level 3 is where you get to equivalence to A level. So you guys will be doing your GCSEs, so you're doing a Level 2 qualification for the most part. Some of you might have different circumstances. So you would finish your Level 2s usually when you're 16, and then you do your Level 3 when you're 16 to 18. So that's what we're offering, and I'll take you through some information about it. So we're establishing our Industry Excellence Academy and also our Centre of Excellence in Manchester. The idea is that you will do a qualification ranging from entry level through to extended diplomas. Now, an extended diploma is what you would be doing if you do a Level 3 applied science. If you leave us with an extended diploma, you'll have done 2 years of study, and that'll be equivalent to 3 A levels. And with that, and with your work experience alongside that, you've got lots of options for progression. You can go into university, you can go into employment, you can do a higher apprenticeship. There are lots of different options. If you haven't already attained a grade 4 GCSE in English, then you would be able to do applied science at Level 3. We do require maths at Level 3, but I'll get to the entry requirements later. You'll complete work experience with one or more than one employer, and we also have industry placements, which are heftier placements where you get a really fantastic experience with top employers and industry professionals. And we also have, as part of your tutorial pastoral program, employability sessions that equip you with the skills you need to thrive in the workplace. So the big question, I suppose, is why science? And a lot of you will probably have your own personal answers to that. Our vocational science qualifications are aimed to provide you for a rewarding job that'll help you make a real difference in the world. And science, of course, is all around us. It affects every aspect of our life, and particularly in the current, coronavirus pandemic, it's a particularly significant area. A lot of people weren't aware of, epidemiology and the study of viruses, but now that's, that's something that we're becoming really familiar with. But science is all about the world and the way in which it's generated. Whether you want to save lives or fight climate change, make groundbreaking discoveries, the science qualification is your first step in doing that. Scientists are there in almost every industry across the globe. Traditionally you think of things like the pharmaceutical industry, but every single thing that you touch, you use, you consume on a daily basis will have a scientist involved at some step of the production of that. Taking one of our courses can therefore open the door to a huge variety of careers, for example, forensic scientist or paramedic, midwife, pharmacist, some engineering courses and engineering roles, research chemists. Those are the ones that are specific to science. But as I've tried to explain, you can also work in almost any manufacturing industry, I would say, with some scientific knowledge and credentials. So you can do Btec Science a lot of places. Why would you want to do it at the Manchester College? We feel that because of our links with industry and our work experience, as well as our fantastic teachers and facilities, which you'll have a little view of later, we can help you gain those skills that you use throughout a career in the science industry. You'll be marshalling those skills in modern, well-equipped laboratories, which led by tutors who are experts in their field. A lot of them have industry experience as well. So they haven't just been teachers, they've done things prior to teaching, and all sorts of, from working in a pharmacy to being in the RAF, all sorts of industry roles in which science has a real life application. We really believe in helping you reach your ultimate goal. And so if you're aged 16 to 18, our Centre of Excellence for Science is set up to help you do exactly that. So you would be able to enrol on the science study programme on either a level 2 or a level 3 qualification. As I've mentioned, in order to do level 3 applied science, the equivalent to 3 A levels, the extended diploma, you would need to have your 4 or above in maths. But you are able to resit your English if you get below grade 4. We would look for a grade 3. The aim is, of course, that you will have completed your English and then you'll have fewer additional things to do to your main qualification. So this would be a mandatory requirement. Level 3 Applied Science is a very exciting, rewarding course. It's designed to support students in vocational science and aim to move you into the science-based workforce. Your time will be split equally between the 3 main scientific disciplines. So obviously they are biology, chemistry and physics. That's different to some other centres where you might focus on specific, say, forensic science or biomedical science. We like to give you the full range of scientific experiences so that you can discover all of those disciplines and find which one works best for you, or the combination of those. For example, there's biochemistry. There's lots of chemical aspects to physics, and all of those kind of interactions are important. There is plenty of practical work as well as lectures, discussion, internet and independent work, and all of these things will help develop your understanding of chemistry, biology and physics. But crucially, they'll talk about how this relates to real life applications in a science workplace. The aim is very much, along with the industry experience or the work experience, to get you familiar with working in a scientific job role. The sorts of skills that you'll develop on this course, and I'm sure you have a lot of these already, that will just need to be developed to, say, level 2 or level 3. You need to think about and be interested in how things work. Problem solving, critical thinking, so looking at a problem, looking at a situation and thinking analytically about it in order to try and solve it. You need to be able to look at data and observe reactions or experiments and draw conclusions from those. Perhaps they were different to your original hypotheses. You'll be looking at calculating, and there's plenty of maths involved in Btec science, whether at level 2 or level 3. That's why we look for it as part of your qualification. Evaluation skills based on looking at all of the evidence and the overview, and then you'll also need to be familiar with, and you'll develop skills in diagrammatic presentations, so presenting data in diagrammatic forms essentially. So you'll be developing these skills on your GCSEs already, and if you move on to level 3, it will be an extension of those skills. So moving on to the work placement. On our work experience placement, the aim is that per year you spend at least 35 hours working in external workplaces across the region. We have links with all sorts of relevant industries, whether it's pharmacies or NHS positions. You'll assist with day-to-day tasks and shadow staff to develop your skills and broaden your knowledge of the industry. So that's the standard offer that we expect all students to do. However, there is also the opportunity to do a fantastic industry placement. Now, this is a much more significant commitment, but it can really reap benefits in terms of the engagement that you'll have with an employer, and potentially the job that you could get at the end of it with that employer if you enjoy the placement. That gives you more than 315 hours over your 2 years of experience with a leading employer. You'll get hand-on experience, and you'll get an insight into all the career pathways within that industry or that scientific discipline. Many of our students can also go on to paid employment at the end of the year. So the placement and the links we have with that are a really big part of the offer that we've got. In terms of progression after your BTEC Applied Science, if you went into university, the sorts of courses you would be looking at, and this is by no means an exhaustive list, there's plenty more: biochemistry, biology, wildlife biology, chemistry, nutrition, dietetics, microbiology, pharmaceutical science, pharmacology, podiatry, radiography. You'd need to do work experience as part of that, healthcare science. There'd be employment careers within the NHS, chemical applications, pharmaceutical industry, engineering industry, food science, environmental science, and of course, sort of industry roles in general within manufacturing would also involve sort of science and vocational science, and your qualification would be really useful for that. So what follows now is a short video which will take you through the facilities that we have, the laboratories that we have at our Shena Simon campus, which is right in the heart of Manchester. So hopefully that will work. So we're on the top floor of the Shena Simon campus, right near Piccadilly. This is one of our chemistry labs, the main chemistry lab. It's a huge room actually, with a fume cupboard, all the Bunsen burners and things that you'd be used to. Periodic table. Moving on, this is our physics lab. So more Bunsen burners, more electrical equipment, and other sorts of things like transistors. You've got laptop trolleys to do your work on as well for when you're doing assignment work. And we also have a biology lab, again a really good size. So that's what we have at Shena Simon. There are other classrooms that you'll use, and you'll use all of the other things within Shena Simon as well, but that's just to make you aware of that. In order to find out more and apply, as I'm sure you will know, but the place to go to is tmc.ac.uk/science, where we've got our bespoke microsite where you can learn more. So my portion of the presentation is complete now. So really thank you for your time again. I'd like to now throw this open to some questions and a question and answer session. So I will say briefly goodbye and I'll come back on and see you all.
Yeah, thanks for that, Tom. That was really good. We've got Nusra with us here as well, who's a tutor within the science department. And we've had quite a few questions come in, which is great. So we'll dive right in. So the first question is, what possible careers can you go on to with BTEC Applied Science? So I'm not sure which one of you would like to answer that.
I mean, I suppose what I tried to emphasize in the presentation, hopefully, and Nusrat, come in if you want, but I feel like there's a huge number of careers that involve science at a range of different levels. So while some of them could be branded under, you know, chemist, pharmacist, biologist, all of those kind of aspects, physicist, or use those skills, all sorts of industries require people with scientific understanding and scientific experience. So there's almost sort of limitless sort of progression opportunities and careers that you could go into. I don't know if you want to add to that, Nusrat, with anything particular.
Yeah, I mean, there's a massive amount of route that you can take after doing BTEC Applied Science, and even within the subject disciplines such as physics, chemistry and biology, there's different fields within that you do. Like with the biology, you not only look at physiology, you look a bit of biochemistry, so your knowledge of science will be vast. So you could be also, you know, deciding whilst you're studying what it is that you would like to go into, so you'd have plenty of time to decide as well. And so yeah, like Tom had mentioned early on in the presentation, you can go to podiatry, pharmacy, you can go to engineering. We've had students going to engineering as well in the past, and it's quite a successful course.
One thing to perhaps clarify is that a lot of people are interested in a career in medicine, so working specifically as a doctor and going to medical school at university. So if you're interested in that route, you will probably know that there's a very traditional and kind of only one real way to get into that, and that is to achieve extremely high in your GCSEs, then move on to A-levels in biology, chemistry and one other, usually maths, get lots of A stars and move into medicine from there. So it's just to clarify that medicine is one thing that you aren't able to access with Btec Science, but there are a whole host of other degrees and careers that you can. Yeah,
that's right. So it's no medicine, veterinary science or dentistry.
Yeah, but otherwise a huge amount of possibilities.
Yes.
Okay, brilliant. I think that answers one of the other questions, which actually was, does Btec Science lead to medicine at university and a career as a doctor? So hopefully that's covered in your answer now. Yeah.
So it's a shame, but yeah.
So another question was, what is the balance between exams and coursework? So I'm not sure which one of you would like to field that one.
With the new course that we've introduced this year, the RQF, Btec Applied Science, there is examined units, 4 examined units that you do from the possible 13 that you do over the 2 years. So though there are examined units, there aren't many at all. Most of it are in-house assessed coursework, but you do get assessed externally as well, 4 units.
Yeah, so it's roughly maybe, is it about 30% then, is right, would you say?
Yes.
Exam versus coursework or assignment work.
Yes.
I believe that you do have the opportunity to retake those exams in the second year, or at least some of those, but obviously the aim is for you to achieve as high as you can the first time around.
Yes.
Okay, brilliant. Thanks for that. So another one was, what sort of practicals do you do and how many are there?
I think you do a lot of practicals, and you'll do them across all of the different types of sciences. So for example, in physics, there's various electronics modules that you'll do. You'll look at kind of currents and conduction and all those kind of things. As you can tell, I'm perhaps not a scientist myself, but I do remember doing those sorts of things. And whenever I walk past the classroom, there's always something exciting going on. People in lab coats and Bunsen burners going and stuff like that. But maybe you can elaborate a bit more, Nusrat, from a scientific perspective.
I mean, yes. It depends which unit you're doing within the subject. So in biology, there'd be certain subjects whereby there won't be any experiments that you'd be required to do, be theory. And there'd be some that experiments would be required to do. So experiments like chromatography or thin layer chromatography. And also we have in the past offered to go out to other places like University of Manchester to conduct experiments there, to help broaden your student experience. And then from what we've done there, we've had the PhD student lead the actual experiment. So you'd be trying all sort of technical equipment like PCR and gel electrophoresis there as well. And as in physics as well, so there'd be experiments whereby you construct electrical circuits, and you do calorimetry experiments as well. And there's vast amount of experiments that we offer in Btec Applied Science.
Brilliant, thanks, Nusrat. We a year or so ago, actually, we had a special guest speaker over from NASA who did a presentation to all of the A-level and Btec Science students as well. So we do try and involve guest speakers, you know, whenever possible, and try and do these university visits. And even in the, you know, coronavirus situation, we're going to try and do as much of that as we can.
Fantastic. So another question was, is there a drastic difference between Btec Science and normal, in inverted commas, sciences? So I think that's just a question on Btec there and the differences.
Well, I think science is science. Btec is just under a different format, whereby, you know, within the course we'd offer, you know, work experience, and you know, we'd also offer practical and theory work. So it's just, it will get you ready for university. I mean, you could be on a course, someone has studied A-levels and you'd study Btec Applied Science. It gets you ready onto that level. So the science content itself doesn't change. I mean, Btec Applied Science is normal science. It's just a different course, and the way you assess is different, that's all.
Okay,
Yeah,
thanks for that. Thanks for that, Nusra. Another question here. In university, will they expect level 2 Btec?
So for university applications, you would need to have a level 3 qualification overall. You could have a level 2 Btec and then progress on to level 3 Btec and have grades in both of those. That would be great. The traditional thing that you would do, I suppose, is you would come to us with your GCSEs. You'd meet our entry requirements, so you'd have your 4 in maths, you'd have 4s in your sciences, and then ideally your English as well, so you wouldn't have to resit it. But if you don't, we can obviously offer that. And then you would stay with us for 2 years, get your level 3 qualification, equivalent to 3 A-levels, and progress on to university. You wouldn't be able to go to university solely with a level 2 science qualification. There may be a combination of courses with some foundation course at university where that might be possible, but our aim is always to try and get people onto undergraduate BSc courses wherever possible, so it would be level 3 that you'd need. However, if you're at a starting point where you can't get on the level 3 straight away and you are 16, 17, then you can do your level 2 and then progress on to your level 3 and be with us for 3 years.
We've got a couple of questions here that are quite similar. So
yep.
One of them is, am I able to do an engineering degree after Btec Science? And the other is, when you said science could lead to engineering, what type of engineering? So twofold there. Are they able to do an engineering degree after Btec Science, and what type of engineering does that lead to?
Okay, I think that if your aim overall and you're very clear is that you want to go into an engineering career, then we do offer an engineering Btec at the Manchester College, which would be better suited for that end goal, essentially. That would be my view on it. You are able to do some engineering courses with Btec Science at university, but the main focus would be doing an engineering Btec or A-levels, but Btec would be just as good. That's my understanding of it. Is that right, Nusrat? Is that what
yeah, that's right. I mean, if you are interested in engineering more specifically, like Tom had mentioned earlier, we have a Btec course specifically for engineering, but having done if you want to do Btec applied science, you can go into engineering, and I think we've had students going into is it mechanical engineering? I'm not sure, yeah. But we've had students going into engineering doing Btec applied science.
Fantastic.
Yeah, so it's not an impossible route basically, no. But you would need to have a look into you have to look actually at the next step, and we have a team that can help you with that. You know, we can have a guidance team. So before you enroll, you'd have to look at what universities are looking for. If you've got a particular university you want to look at, make sure you look at their entry requirements really carefully, and we can help you with that at college just to make sure that you're making the right course choice. So that's absolutely important, absolutely crucial, because you're going to be with us for 2 years as a minimum. Okay, I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, thanks for that both. Next one here. How important are my skills in maths to succeed at Btec Science?
I think they're very important. We look for the 4 in maths as a minimum to do level 3, certainly, and we would expect you during your level 2 to work from a level 3 to from a grade 3 to a grade 4. But there is mathematics in all aspects of the science that you'll do in Btec, and there needs to be a degree of confidence there, and also a degree of enjoyment in applying maths to the situations you encounter in biology, chemistry, and physics. So that's my answer for that one.
Yeah.
So we've got another question here. What happened if I did badly at level 3 applied science?
Okay, I mean, if you did badly, if you were to do badly, I suppose we would aim for that not to happen, and we would monitor your progress as you go through. And if you're struggling, we would aim to intervene and support you with that, and challenge you if necessary, but support you along with that. Every student has got a target grade that is generated by their GCSEs, and that's converted to a point score. Those are usually aspirational. So if your GCSEs are mainly grades 4s and 5s, then you'd be expected to get a minimum of, I believe, something like a DDM at the end of your Btec extended diploma. If you're falling behind that for any reason, then that's where we would look to intervene. So we would hope that wouldn't happen. And if that did happen, I suppose there would be an issue on both sides, from the student and the college, and we'd look to support you in any way that we could in terms of progressing. If you didn't get the grades that you wanted for a particular degree, you might potentially be able to do a foundation course in that degree, which would be an additional year, and then you'd go on to the undergraduate course. But we'd have to kind of look at those situations individually.
Okay, thanks for that. So yeah, we've got a few more. They seem to be quite centered on Btec science and whether it can lead to careers or careers in medicine or time at university studying medicine. So I'll just if someone were to do Btec science, would they still be able to do medicine in university?
Yeah, they wouldn't, I'm afraid. And that's
yeah, I just wanted to check.
It's important to just check that, and we do get a lot of inquiries about that. And obviously, being a doctor is a fantastic career, tough career, but obviously a very rewarding career. But the entry point into it is still very much 7s at the bare minimum in your GCSEs across everything, probably 8s and 9s. Then going on to A levels, biology, chemistry, A's and A stars, then applying through a rigorous application process. And then you're looking at medical school at university. So Btec science is not an entry point into that. If you are over 18, we do offer an access to medicine course, which some universities have signed up to, and they will accept students from. But if your goal and your sole aim is to be a medic and be a doctor, then you would need to look at getting as strong GCSE as possible, strong A levels as possible, strong applications possible in a highly competitive field. The same goes for veterinary science and dentistry as well. If you wanted to work in medical areas, there are a huge number of NHS careers that you could do with Btec science. You can also become a paramedic with Btec science, a midwife, all of those kind of things. You can work in clinical environments without any issues. It's just the medic position you wouldn't be able to do.
Thanks for that. I mean, there's been a few questions about that come in, so I hope that answers a few of them there.
Hopefully, yeah, we'll try our best.
Okay, yeah, I think that brings us to the end of the Q&A session there. So thanks everyone for coming to our Btec Applied Science session. We've got more live events running until Thursday, so please do visit our website, which is tmc.ac.uk/TMC live to register for any other sessions you'd like to join. If you'd like to apply to the Manchester College for 2021, please visit our website, which is www.tmc.ac.uk, or if you'd like to speak to someone about applying, our schools liaison team are waiting to take your call now on 0161 674 3496, and if you'd like to enrol for this year, you still can. The team are available to take your call again this evening on 0161 674 1080. And I should say, for learners with any special educational needs and disabilities, we do have a transition team here in place who will make the move from school to college a positive experience for you. So you can contact them by emailing transitionteam@tmc.ac.uk. All this information should be in the chat box. Yep, it's in the Q&A box down the side there. So if you just want to, I think that's the end. If you want to say goodbye, Nusrat and Tom.
Thanks very much. That's
Bye.
great.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks for coming along.
Yeah, thanks very much for that. Okay, hope everyone has a lovely evening, and thanks for joining us.
Thanks.
Thank you.